Most people think building an app means learning code for months, setting up complicated tools, and spending money before they even know if their idea works. But Claude Code changes that process completely. Instead of starting with a blank screen and guessing what to do next, you can describe the app you want. Let Claude inspect your project, plan the structure, write the code, fix errors, and help you test everything step by step. In this video, you will see how to use Claude Code to build your first real app the right way, starting from a simple idea, turning it into a working project, checking the important details, avoiding beginner mistakes, and understanding what to do when something breaks. Number 1. Define the real goal. The goal is not just to make Claude Code generate random files. The goal is to turn a simple idea into a small working app that you can run, test, improve, and eventually publish. Claude Code is useful because it can read your project, understand the structure, edit files, run commands, explain errors, and help you move step by step. But it is still not a magic button. You are still the product owner. You decide what the app should do, what features matter first, and whether the result actually works. Number 2. Start with a small app idea. For a first app, do not build a marketplace, a social network, or a full business platform. Start with something small but real. A personal task tracker, habit tracker, budget calculator, recipe organizer, or study planner is enough. The best first app has one clear user, one clear problem, and one clear result. For this walkthrough, imagine we are building a simple task manager where users can add tasks, mark them as complete, filter them, and see basic progress. Number 3. Write the app in one sentence. Before opening Claude Code, write one plain sentence that explains the app. For example, this app helps a person manage daily tasks by adding, completing, filtering, and saving tasks in the browser. That sentence keeps the project focused. Beginners often skip this and start prompting with vague ideas like "build me a cool productivity app." That usually creates messy features, unclear screens, and code that feels impressive for 5 minutes but becomes hard to fix later. Number 4. Choose the simple tech stack. For your first app, choose a stack that is easy to run locally. A React app created with Vite is a good beginner choice because it starts quickly and does not require a server just to see something on the screen. Use JavaScript first if you are still learning. TypeScript is powerful, but it adds extra rules that can distract beginners. For storage, begin with browser storage instead of a database. A real database can come later after the app works. Number 5. Prepare your computer. You need a few basic tools before Claude Code can help properly. You need a terminal, Node, npm, Git, and access to Claude Code through a supported account. If you are on Windows, using Windows Subsystem for Linux is often smoother for development commands. Also install a code editor like Visual Studio Code, even if most of the work happens in the terminal. Claude Code can edit files, but you still need to inspect the project like a real builder. Number 6. Create a clean project folder. Do not start inside a messy downloads folder full of random files. Create one clean folder for your coding projects. Inside that folder, create the new app with Vite. In natural language, the flow is simple. Run the create Vite command, name the project, choose React, choose JavaScript, move into the project folder, install the packages, and run the development server. When the starter app opens in the browser, you know your foundation is working. Number 7. Add Git before editing. Before asking Claude Code to make changes, initialize Git. Git is your safety net. It lets you see what changed, go back if something breaks, and keep clean checkpoints as the app grows. After creating the starter project, make the first commit with the untouched version. This matters because if Claude makes a change you do not like, you can compare it to the original state. Without Git, beginners panic when a generated change breaks 3 files at once. Number 8. Start Claude Code in the project. Open the terminal inside your project folder and start Claude Code. The important detail is that Claude Code should run from the root of the project, not from your desktop or some parent folder. When it starts in the right place, it can read the package file, source folder, configuration files, and project structure. Your first request should not be build the whole app. Ask it to inspect the project and explain what each important file does. Number 9. Ask for a plan first. Before allowing any edits, ask Claude Code to create a plan. Say that you want a simple task manager with adding tasks, completing tasks, deleting tasks, filtering by status, saving tasks in browser storage, and a clean, responsive layout. Then ask it to explain which files it will change and why. This step prevents random code generation. A good plan should mention components, state management, styling, storage, and testing. If the plan sounds too big, ask Claude to reduce it. Number 10. Keep the first version small. The first version should not have accounts, payments, notifications, artificial intelligence features, charts, admin panels, or a database. Those features are not wrong, but they are not first version features. Your first milestone is simple. The app opens, the main screen is clear, tasks can be created, completed, removed, and saved after refresh. Once that works, you can build more. If you add advanced features too early, debugging becomes much harder because you will not know which part caused the problem. Number 11. Give Claude clear requirements. A strong prompt is specific but not overloaded. Say what the app should do, what it should not do yet, and how success should be checked. For example, tell Claude to build a clean single-page task manager, keep the code simple, use React State, save tasks in browser storage, make it mobile-friendly, and run the app after editing. Also tell it not to add authentication or a database yet. That one boundary saves a lot of unnecessary complexity. Number 12. Review before approving changes. Claude Code may ask for permission before editing files or running commands. Do not approve everything blindly. Look at what it wants to change. If it is editing the main app file and the style file, that makes sense for a small React project. If it suddenly wants to remove configuration files, install many packages, or rewrite the entire project, pause and ask why. The permission step is not just a technical interruption. It is your chance to stay in control. Number 13. Build the main screen. The first screen needs to be obvious. At the top, there should be a title and a short description. Then an input field for a new task, a button to add it, and a list showing tasks. Each task should have a complete control and a delete control. Ask Claude to avoid tiny buttons and crowded layouts. Many beginner apps technically work but feel uncomfortable to use because the controls are small, the spacing is tight, and the page looks unfinished. Number 14. Add state the simple way. State is the app memory while the page is open. In a task manager, state holds the list of tasks, the text currently typed into the input field, and the active filter. Ask Claude to explain where state is stored and how it changes when a user adds or completes a task. This explanation matters because you do not want code that works like a black box. You should understand the basic flow. User action happens, state updates, screen refreshes. Number 15. Save data in the browser. For a first app, browser storage is usually enough. It lets the task list stay after the page refreshes, without setting up a database or user accounts. Ask Claude to add saving and loading carefully. The app should load saved tasks when it starts, and it should update saved tasks whenever the list changes. Also ask it to handle empty or broken saved data safely. A small safety check can prevent the app from crashing if old saved data is invalid. Number 16. Add filters and progress. Once the task list works, add filters for all tasks, active tasks, and completed tasks. Then add a simple progress summary like total tasks, completed tasks, and remaining tasks. This gives the app a more useful feeling without making the code too complex. Ask Claude to keep the logic readable. If the filter code becomes too complicated, ask it to simplify. A first app should teach you how the pieces connect, not hide everything behind clever code. Number 17. Make the design usable. Design is not only colors. Design is whether someone can understand the app in 3 seconds. Ask Claude to create a clean layout with strong spacing, readable text, clear buttons, and a responsive design for mobile. Do not ask for fancy animations first. Smooth design comes from clarity. The input should be easy to see, completed tasks should look different, and important actions should be obvious. If the app looks nice but is confusing, the design failed. Number 18. Run the app after changes. After the first build, run the development server and open the app in the browser. Do not assume the app works just because Claude finished editing. Click every main feature. Add a task, complete it, delete it, refresh the page, change filters, try an empty task, try a long task, resize the browser to mobile width. These checks catch most beginner problems. If something fails, copy the exact error or describe the exact behavior to Claude. Number 19. Debug with evidence. When there is an error, do not say it is broken. That gives Claude too little information. Say exactly what you did, what you expected, what happened, and paste the error message if there is one. For example, after refreshing the page, the task list disappears even though browser storage was added. That gives Claude a specific path to investigate. Good debugging is not about being technical. It is about giving clear evidence instead of vague frustration. Number 20. Ask for small fixes. If one feature fails, ask Claude to fix that feature only. Do not combine 5 fixes in one message. Beginners often say fix the app, improve the design, add a database, and prepare deployment all at once. That creates more risk. A better prompt is: the completed filter shows the wrong count, inspect the filter logic, explain the cause, make the smallest fix, and run the relevant check. Small prompts produce cleaner changes and make mistakes easier to catch. Number 21. Clean the code. After the app works, ask Claude Code to review the code for readability. The goal is not to make the code advanced. The goal is to remove unused variables, split large sections only if needed, rename confusing functions, and make the structure easier to follow. Ask it to avoid unnecessary new packages. A common beginner mistake is letting AI add dependencies for problems that can be solved with simple JavaScript. Every package becomes something you must maintain later. Number 22. Add basic accessibility. A useful app should be usable by more people. Ask Claude to check labels, button names, keyboard behavior, focus states, color contrast, and readable text size. For a task manager, the input should have a clear label, buttons should say what they do, and a user should be able to move through the app with a keyboard. Accessibility is not an extra luxury. It often improves the app for everyone, especially on mobile and smaller screens. Number 23. Protect secrets and private data. Even a simple app needs safe habits. Do not paste private API keys, passwords, tokens, or real user data into prompts. If the app later needs a service key, it should go into an environment file that is not committed to Git. Ask Claude to explain where secrets should live before adding any external service. Also remember that browser storage is not secure storage for sensitive information. It is fine for sample tasks, but not for passwords, private notes, or payment data. Number 24. Decide when you need a backend. A backend is the server side of the app. You need it when users must have accounts, share data across devices, store data securely, process payments, or connect to protected services. You do not need it for the very first local task manager. Start without a backend so you understand the user experience first. When the app becomes useful, ask Claude to compare simple backend options and explain the trade-offs before writing any code. Number 25. Add authentication later. Authentication means users can create accounts and access their own data. It also adds real responsibility. You must think about session handling, protected pages, password reset, database rules, and what happens when a user signs out. Do not ask Claude to invent a custom password system. Use a trusted authentication provider or a framework with established patterns. When you reach this step, ask Claude to plan the authentication flow before touching the code. Number 26. Prepare for deployment. Deployment means putting the app online so other people can open it. Before deploying, run the production build command and fix any errors. Then choose a hosting platform that supports static React apps, connect your Git repository, set the build command, and set the output folder. Do not deploy a broken app just because the local version looked fine. Production builds often catch issues that the development server allowed. Number 27. Test the live version. After deployment, open the live link in a normal browser window and test the same actions again. Add tasks, complete tasks, delete tasks, refresh the page and check mobile layout. Also open the browser console and look for errors. If the live version behaves differently from the local version, tell Claude exactly where it was deployed, what command was used for the build, and what error appears. Deployment problems are usually configuration problems, not complete app failures. Number 28. Avoid common beginner mistakes. The biggest mistake is asking for too much at once. The second mistake is approving changes without reading them. The third mistake is skipping Git. The fourth mistake is adding a database before the app has a clear workflow. The fifth mistake is trusting the first result without testing. Claude Code can move fast, but speed without checks creates fragile software. A good beginner workflow is plan, edit, run, test, fix, commit, then add the next feature. Number 29. Use Claude like a developer partner. Claude Code works best when you treat it like a developer partner, not a vending machine. Ask it to explain trade-offs. Ask why a certain file changed. Ask for a smaller solution. Ask it to write tests for important logic. Ask it to inspect errors before guessing. If it makes the same mistake twice, write a project note that explains the rule clearly. The better your project context becomes, the more consistent Claude becomes across future sessions. Number 30. Improve the app in layers. Once the first version is stable, improve it in layers. First, improve the interface. Then add categories. Then add due dates. Then add search. Then add import and export. Then add accounts and a database only when there is a real reason. Each layer should solve one clear problem. After every layer, run the app, test the core actions, and commit the working version. That is how you use Claude Code to build your first app without turning a simple idea into an unstable mess.